all. We're glad you're with us on Overflow today, where we take 5 minutes to talk about how your walk with God can overflow into your relationships with your non-Christian friends, confidently, relevantly. Today on Overflow, we're going to hear from John Burke, author of a book called Soul Revolution. We talked to John at the National Outreach Conference in San Diego. Burke says we need to view our non-Christian friends as a masterpiece of art that God has created.
You know, if you found a Rembrandt painting worth millions of dollars, but it was covered in mud, would you treat it like mud? And, the answer is no. You'd treat it like this valuable work of art, and you'd realize the mud's a problem. It needs to be cleaned off, but you probably wouldn't just scrape it off yourself. You'd bring it to a master, who could lead you in how to delicately restore this masterpiece to its original value. And we see the same thing, that when we treat people who seem far from God like His work of art waiting to be revealed, and we begin to point out in them what God sees, and maybe even what God's doing that we can see behind the scenes, that He's drawing them to Himself, we find that God's grace really does begin to grow in them, and they become open to the message of Christ.
The cool thing is, there's actually a scriptural basis for this masterpiece thing.
Really, it's what grace is about. Ephesians 2:8-10, talks about, for by grace we've been saved through faith. It's not something we did. And it goes on to say that for we are God's poema, or His work of art, His masterpiece, created in Christ Jesus for good works, which God planned for us long ago. So just looking at that, what you realize is that every person was created in His image, and He planned a work of art for them long ago. He sees them as His work of art, waiting to be revealed in Christ. And what we found is that when we train people to see that in non-Christians, to see what God sees that was worth dying for, and to call that out in them, they actually begin to open up to this God that maybe they, were running from.
Wow, that's some great perspective. Remember, the name of the book is Soul Revolution by John Burke. Well, that's all for this edition of Overflow today. All our shows and small group discussion guides that go along with each show are always available for free on our website, overflowtoday.com. Now go pour into someone's life.